Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Dalton Gentry.
Say the line.
And you are?
No, I want you to say
You're
it.
Jeremy Edwards.
All right, I'm Jeremy Edwards.
You're Brian Duskey. And we've established this. And this is Variety Hour, here with the gentleman from Shakeshafte Cinema.
Hello.
An upcoming project here in Kansas City that you'll be able to follow on the YouTube machine. And we're going to have a bit of a Variety Hour.
YouTube Variety.
The Variety!
This is so weird. I watch Variety Hour. I'm one of you guys. I watch Variety Hour all the time. Well,
can we do Variety Power Hour?
We could do Variety Hour.
Oh, God.
So,
No, we're not doing that.
Variety Hour today is sponsored by Sneaky Pete. This is a lovely family recipe of jungle juice, spicoli, whatever you want to call it. It's death in a cup.
And the best part is he'll tell you the recipe at the end of the night where you won't remember it.
So,
it is pure fuckery.
We're having a soiree of nights tonight.
Get thee to a fuckery.
Because Mr. Jeremy here is due to be a father within about a month and a half.
May, yeah.
In May. So we are having one last night of debauchery to acknowledge the death of our good friend. And therefore, Sneaky Pete's a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how this night's beginning.
That is, with a variety.
It's a terrible idea to go, let's do Variety Hour while we're drinking this concoction and just see where it goes.
But that happens. I mean, you know, we've live streamed you drinking Four Loko before.
That's a thing.
So it happens.
So unfortunately, what I thought would be just the best for your last night is we would go through the different phases of our drinking. We'd have Caribou Lou's, we'd have Sneaky Pete, we'd have summer beer. Everything that, like, established us as borderline alcoholics.
You need to describe to me what summer beer is, because when you said summer beer, I legitimately just thought you meant a summer beer. A nice
shanty.
A nice, beautiful summer beer.
A nice shanty, a little lemon.
Get yourself a summer beer, bro.
To be fair, it's a shanty. It's a shanty of sorts. Yeah. So, like, in college, we drank a lot of summer beer. And I remember it was delicious. I loved summer beer, and it was like, as soon as it got warm out, today, we'd have a summer beer. And then it was until you asked me, like, what's in that again? And I'm like, well, it's a 30-pack. It's a 30-pack of, like, Natural Light.
A handle of vodka.
A handle of cheap vodka.
The cheapest that you can find, yeah.
And an entire container of Country Time lemonade. You just sprinkle it on top.
It's
and
like,
you mix it.
So, this is a combination of bro beer, cheer beer, and all of Russia.
It's delicious! But as I get older, you asked what's in it, and I texted it out. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good at all now, does it? That just was awful.
Yeah, age just got up with us, man. So, smacked us right in the face.
So we passed on the summer beer.
And instead we went Sneaky Pete.
That
was
a
great decision.
So tonight will end terribly. I'm kind of hoping I can get everybody to the point a few hours from now. Be like, you know what we should do?
Another variety
hour. This is a great idea.
This is the proudest moment for all our families.
I will do it.
Actually, I need some intermission clips for our longer videos, and I'm thinking about, like, the first one of you who passes out on me, I'm just going to be like, start saying intermission, and that's going to be my intermission clip. So let's talk business first.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
You guys have an upcoming film project that's going to be on YouTube, Shakeshafte
Cinema.
Sure. You want to tell us briefly about that?
Well, we went over it in another video. If you haven't watched it, you should go check it out. We go more in depth on that, but we could tell a bit other things about it. One of the funny things for it is I've been asked, I don't know, at least a dozen times, and I guess Brian has too. We're like, why is it called Shakeshafte Cinema?
I've never been asked that.
Really?
Ever.
I've got it at least a dozen times.
I will say,
I don't hang out with intellectuals like this.
Well,
guy.
no, I will say this, is that most of the people I promote the show to also are, because like 100% of my friends are people that, like, I have met. Well, I shouldn't say 100, but most of the friends I have people I've met through film shoots, through theater, like stuff like that.
There are literally dozens of
I like how he went to the percentage because he didn't want to say everyone in this room.
Well, no. And that's really what happened. I was like 100%. But I was like, well, I guess there's maybe a few here. But no, most of the friends I have met through theater and through film, and most of that has been through doing Shakespeare and shit like that. So,
but anyway, yeah,
they get it, I guess. But
Shakeshafte, if you don't know, which is this book too, so I'm more than expecting you to. It was considered to be William Shakespeare's real name.
Yeah,
they believed his name was Old Bill Shakeshafte. And so that's how it came about. We were thinking of different names, and
you should have went Billy Wigglesticks.
I was going to say subtext. We also had an old professor who was very inspirational to us.
Yeah.
And he often used to refer to him as Shakeshaft. Like, it was kind of like a joking, kind of ironic manner, but
he also thought Marlowe wrote a lot of Shakespeare. So
yeah. He was a character. He was a character.
He was a great person.
But yeah, so that was kind of also like every time we kind of do Shakespeare, we always think of him.
Tell him what Don taught you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was talking to Dalton.
Yeah.
Brian, you as well.
No, I can do that too. I mean,
he taught us all so much.
The greatest gift that I ever learned from Professor Don Lilly.
Professor Lilly. Yeah.
I believe it was in Kansas. We'd gone to American College Theater Festival. Is that what it is?
Yes.
ACTF.
Yeah.
And there a bit of an after party at those. So a lot of us had been partaking.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean rude, but you were at those?
No, you were at the Fight Combat one.
Yeah, because I know you went to Louisiana.
I went to ACTF in Lawrence when they had it at KU one year.
Did they? Really? I didn't know they had it there.
That was probably before.
I was there with.
Yeah, it was before we did it, I guess.
I was there with Carl and Jeremy. Other
Carl.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
But we lost Don. We couldn't find him. We were all pretty intoxicated, wandering around the hotel. And Don, rest his soul, stumbled out of the bar with a glass in his hand. He said, "Kids, today's lesson is you don't waste good gin." And he slammed his drink. He said, "Get in the van. We're going back to the hotel."
I can see him saying that
Don
to
Lilly.
a T. Okay, so were you there during the Jeremy Hudson paying the girl to take her shirt off moment?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
For dear Carl. ACTF was a night. And I have nothing better to say about that. ACTF was a night. But anyway, Shakeshafte Cinema it will be debuting.
But anyway,
we are very classy and see this is great because this is Shakespeare to a fucking T. It's because we're trying to pass ourselves as these very classy and sophisticated individuals, but really we're sex fiends.
No, and that's a big misconception. Is Shakespeare is lauded as this high society, highbrow content. He makes fart jokes. Like this is not something.
I mean, Romeo and Juliet just wanted to bang. I mean, that's all that was. I mean, because there's this great debate where people say it's not a love story. I'm like, well, it kind of is a love story because they thought they were in love.
It's a breakup story.
Well, there's that too. Yeah,
he was just trying to get over.
Well, because that brings the debate about what a love story is. Because if the characters believe they're in love, you can technically say it is a love story. I say it's still a romance, but maybe not a love story necessarily. Because I mean they only got married because she said, "I'm not going to have sex unless we're married." And he's like, "All right, well, let's get married." Let's fucking
So again, I'd like to point out that these two professionals from the Kansas City area will be debuting Shakeshafte Cinema April 26th. I don't know where to go from there.
It was fun acting in Kansas City while it lasted.
It was fun. It was fun. And you may see a lovely piece of eye candy that you're very familiar with on one of yonder videos. So I definitely have to plug that because...
You should talk about your experience with it. If you don't know, Dalton did Shakespeare with us. I mean, me and Dalton have known each other for what seems like forever, sadly.
It's fair.
But anyway...
It's most people's reaction.
Dalton, I brought it up. I was like, hey, I want to do Shakespeare because you've actually even mentioned on the channel you want to do more acting. I would love to get back into acting, but your schedule doesn't allow it. And I know you like Shakespeare as well, so... asked you to come on and do a piece. You actually recommended the play that we pulled your scene from. You want to talk a bit about like shooting that? Because it was such a blast for you.
No, it wasn't. So the the first shot of the scene was going to be outside in an alleyway. And okay, that's fine. It rained that day.
It did rain that day.
So we had to spend the first portion of that in a bar. At like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. What time was it? It was god-awful.
It wasn't that early.
10 a.m.
We had coffees.
Doing shots in a bar.
Yeah, that was great.
Because we walked in and they're like, we have free shots today. I'm like, well, we're supposed to be here, aren't
we? Didn't even ask. We're just like, we just want coffee. And they're like, do you want shots?
It's like, the greatest bar.
They were like, God, does yes still mean no? Like,
so we start the morning, rainy and cold. Yeah. And we go to film the next scene, which is in a river in November in Missouri. At which point I'm informed I need to take my shoes off and roll in the mud.
So I have this bad problem whenever I go to films. I love outdoor scenes. You just have such better cinematography. You have great just looks and lights. But I always end up filming in winter.
It's not just you.
Well, I know it's a problem plaguing the industry. But it seems like every time, it's just like, hey, I have this idea for a short. It's outside. You want to shoot it in December? Does that sound good to you?
It was pretty conclusive of all of us because we had 3 outdoor shoots, I think, and every single one we did have some type of weather issue because that day was cold. We had another day that was cold and windy, and then my day it was like raining, and I think it snowed like 2 days before, so there was still some snow on the ground.
It snowed earlier the day of yours, but yeah, and then mine, it was overcast the whole time until we got to like the pivotal moment. And then the sun came out.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not familiar with filmmaking, that creates a huge shift in light, which makes the scenes look completely different.
And the sky looks different.
And the sky looks different, like the whole scene, and it just becomes a pain to like color grade and work around. So we sat there for an hour and a half trying to figure out what to do, and that was fun.
And the bitch of it was that it didn't happen like between sequences. So like
no, it was mid scene.
It was like not only was it mid scene. But we went so say we get say we're shooting a scene like right here, and we get like the side angle of all 3 of us, right? When we switch to get the front angle, that's when the lighting changed.
Yeah.
So it's like the fucking side angle is useless now.
Well, film work's different than booktube work because like in booktube, oftentimes we do one straight take.
You just roll
one straight take. In film work, you have to do sequences of takes, a lot of takes. Yeah. And I remember as I couldn't feel my toes anymore as I'm covered in mud and literally bathing myself in wet wipes and bottled water to get the scene again. You're like, okay, we're gonna do one more. I'm like, yeah, we're not. Well, I think we got it.
I remember my favorite part of that was you started to do the scene and we were filming by the river, but it was also by an overpass. There was a highway within 500 feet of us. And so we're filming him, and it starts, and right when he puts that first bit of mud on him, a semi just roars by, and I'm like, hold, don't you do anything. We're going to wipe that mud off your hands, and we're going to go again. Because we bought a 5-pack of shirts, and I think he went through all of them that day.
I went through a lot of shirts that day. That's actually more shirts than I actually own.
I know.
It's impressive.
You probably still have one.
2 quick things. One,
it's this one.
This liquor is sneaky. Secondly, because it's hit me. And secondly, one of the things I always remember about that shoot was that we kind of had this idea of putting the mud through the hair. We're like, oh, I look really cool. And we didn't realize how bad your hair would get hard.
Like the mud's probably still in there, honestly.
It is. It's actually what made the dress.
Is forever dirty.
forever unclean. Well, this went downhill right now, didn't it? So I realized something the other day. Since we were having a night of debauchery, we're going to be having some drinks.
Yeah.
I realized something. I had a good friends of mine, the twins. You guys know the twins.
Yeah, the twins.
Sure, why not?
Shout out to the twins.
Their little brother just got back from the military. Strapping young man of 22, 23 years old. And he sat down. He said, "You know what? I've heard all these stories. I want to outdrink you tonight. I want the belt."
Why do people always challenge you?
I don't know.
And why don't we have a literal belt?
Yes, yes.
So I'm like, okay, baby, that's fine. We'll do this.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
So I ended up tucking him in that night, giving him a trash can. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go clean the house now. You get some sleep. You're going to need it.
First, let me take this selfie.
Let me take this selfie of you just in case you ever want to talk smack again. And then I realized,
in case you ever get married,
everyone that I ever meet, I always meet them through a night of drinking, at which point I get them blackout drunk. Because I'm telling this to Megan, and she's like, "You did the same thing when we first met." I'm like, "No, I didn't."
And when we were planning this, we were going through, it's just like, who are we inviting to this night of debauchery, as you put it? And he's just like, we just don't have that many people that come back to drink. I'm like, yeah, because you drink them under the table, and they don't want to come back.
Well, the first time
terrified.
Megan and I ever hung out, well before we started dating, she came over and I was drinking gin at that point. I'm like, nobody will ever drink gin with me.
It's nasty.
It angers me. I like gin, and she
I liked
will.
that. What was that one really freaking strong gin that you had?
The hibiscus gin?
Yeah, I like that.
I still have some more.
I thought that tonight
is the night. But Megan tells me, she's like, I said, I'll drink gin with you. It's fine. And she did, and she doesn't remember the night.
Megan, actually, I remember in college, she didn't drink. She didn't. No. And the first time she came to drink with us, we don't care about cost we go for quantity, not quality. And so we had Natty Light, and Megan to this day thanks me for introducing her and making her develop an appreciation for Natty Light. It was one of my favorite things. It's like, you made me appreciate Natty Light, and I'm
that's
just like,
that's a sentence you will never ever hear in the history.
Oh, it's in all my bios. Right. Like, that's.
Do you know there's a new thing out right now?
The Natty Daddies?
No, Natural Light has released a new beer. Yeah. They have called it Natter Day.
Yeah, Natter Day.
It is a strawberry lemonade Natural Light.
Man, that sounds like summer beer to me.
Are they gonna release the Saints of Natter Day Saints?
I hope so. I would like to hope so. I was in Hy-Vee today picking up Sneaky Pete liquor, and like I was checking out. There's a huge line because it's super busy, and the guy at the register looks over. He's like, "Oh, I see you found the Natter Days." I'm like, "There's Natter Days in here?" And I am furious that I did not have like the patience to be like, "Hold on, I'll get some."
The worst part is too, that was a decade ago. You know, when we started that, like in college, we still drink it. Like, we are not by any means, like, our taste hasn't improved. We're drinking Sneaky Pete.
It's my beer choice.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never had it.
You've never had a Natural Light?
No.
I can remedy that, like, right now. I have a lukewarm one on the counter.
And that's the best way. Rodeo cool. That's how you drink them.
You have to drink it warm.
Yeah. But I'm not sad about it. Like, I'm not hurt.
Sad about it.
Like, every friend I have, I call him Natty Light.
I'm terribly sad about that. Yeah. That's the worst thing I've ever
Especially for your friends who aren't named Matt.
It's true.
Like, yeah, I just realized how I phrased that.
Yes.
And I was like, I didn't phrase it that every friend Matt I have called
just everyone.
Because I have one friend Matt who we know, and I call him Matt. But then like my friend, I have another friend called Matt who's like not as important. So I call him Natty Light.
You guys can fight among yourselves which Matt he's talking about right now.
So if you move back through the antiquities of Strip Cover Lit, we had a brief run on a channel called The Aristocrats Show, at which point Matt Wright was a part of.
Bias, yeah.
And like we were hoping that Matt would be joining us today, but he won't. Because he's a terrible person, and that's fine.
The worst.
Are you calling him out on Variety Hour?
Yes, I am, because I know he doesn't watch it.
He's never going to say it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Variety whore.
It's fine. He's not here, and we're moving past.
He's not going to be here. Like, that's just it.
No, you need to accept it. Because that creates the moment when he does show up. It's amazing. You know, it's thrilling. It's beautiful.
So I've run this idea by Adrian a dozen times now. The idea of sitting and having a couple of cocktails and doing a live stream is genius. Yes. I think it has to be done. And I want to...
Every YouTuber's done that.
Everyone does it except us, because he doesn't have internet and he won't drive here. And I'm like, it's perfect. We can call it Ripped and Lit.
Does he drink?
Yes.
Okay.
He drinks a lot of whiskeys.
Does he drink well?
I've never drank with him. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So...
yeah, as I say, he took me as a whiskey guy, so I figured he did.
Whiskeys and gin. Sure. And Boulevard Wheat is his beer of choice.
How Hemingway of him.
I was going to say gin, of course he fucking does.
I love gin.
I don't know, I don't mind gin, but I feel like a lot of people drink gin just to say they're drinking gin.
So like on my cocktails of choice, gin and tonic with a little lime in it. It's delicious. It's one of the finest cocktails there is.
What would you say your cocktail choices, Brian?
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned?
I'm not a fan of an old-fashioned.
No.
I'm really not.
I like it because it's, like, I naturally always love whiskey, and rye is my favorite whiskey, and so I always get with rye. But I also like a little sweetness. I don't mind a little sweetness, and, you know, you do have that with the sugars, bitters, and cherry. The greatest cocktail I ever had, well, it's a toss-up. One of them was a Lady Jane that I had at the Phoenix, which was fantastic. And then the other one was a drink I had in Akron, Ohio, and it was a peach old-fashioned, which they grind peach at the bottom of it. And it had kind of a peach flavor to it. But then at the end of it, you had literally this kind of mushed up peach at the bottom of the bar. And it tastes like pure liquor. Like, it was fucking incredible. And I went back, like, I think 2 to 3 months later to get it. And they're like, oh, we don't have that anymore. And I'm like, oh, so you're just the worst person ever.
See, I remember mine is kind of like that. It tastes like all liquor. I remember, what birthday? Was it my 25th? God, I'm old. Anyway, we went to a bar, and we knew the bartender. He was a friend of ours, and so I wandered up to the bar and told him, hey, it's my birthday. I want to do something special. And he said, okay, what are you thinking? I'm like, I'm going to give you a name of a drink. It's not going to be a real drink, but I want you to make it for me. And if you've never played this game...
It's a bold strategy.
Yeah, if you've never played it...
This was one of the greatest nights ever.
You have to play it with a bartender you know, because if not, you're putting your life in a stranger's hands.
Yeah, they'll just tell you to fuck off.
Because he looked at me, he's like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, all right. I'm like, you can charge me whatever. It's what you deem fair.
Yeah.
I trust you. He's like, what's your first drink? I was just like, I would like a rum tum tugger. And I watched him go up and down, pouring every type of gin, or every type of rum, pardon me, in that bar. Every single bottle of rum. A drop went in that drink. And I drank it. And I remember I went back. I was just like, okay, that's pretty good. It wasn't. It was terrible, David. If you're watching, it was not a good rum tum tugger you've made.
You did everything you could. We love you.
My 21st birthday, someone bought me a drink called an Incredible Hulk.
Oh, yeah. I've had it.
I don't recall this event. I don't recall the taste of the drink, but I have been informed that I took a drink and then just dropped it on the floor and walked away. Nonchalantly, like, nope.
And the end of
Do you remember the moment where you offered me a drink and I like fist bumped your drink?
yeah. And you weren't drinking. You weren't playing the name game with me. You just were there. You were there with me in spirit.
Well, I was like, I think that was my first. No, that was my second time being drunk, but it was my first time throwing up from being drunk because I think I didn't drink. Because we talked about the straight edge thing before. Mm-hmm. This was when we were not recording, but we were talking about straight edge before. I was quote unquote straight edge at one point, and then like I hit 22. I hit 22, and I was just like, life is trash. and I started drinking, and so like I think my friend Stacy had got me drunk at his bachelor party one night when like I was drinking Sprite and vodka just to see what it's like, and then he decided to give me 90% vodka and 10% Sprite. And then we had a drink where we combined Sprite, vodka, whiskey, and Coke, and we called it the motherfucker. And I was done. But anyway, so we went to that one night. I was already drunk from, I think it was a tequila sunrise, I think, and then you ordered like a second drink.
Yeah.
Because they were pitchers of the cocktail.
Yeah.
And you ordered a second one, and you're like, here, take another. And I'm like,
yeah, you fist bumped it when we could get $5 pitchers.
I've always done this thing that when someone dies, I always drink their drink of choice. Yeah. It's kind of a thing of respect.
Why else would we drink Jameson?
I've actually grown a taste for
know,
Jameson. It's so sad.
It's good.
My grandfather died. He wasn't really a drinking man, but like when he did have a cocktail, it was Pawpaw vodka and 7-Up.
Oof. Yeah.
That is disgusting. You said vodka and Sprite. No, any kind of lemon, lime, and vodka is awful.
On. Don't fall for this. This man brought, was it Schlitzes? Or hams. No, you brought hams here one time.
I've had Schlitz and hams.
Yeah, and you brought them, and you're just like, this was the cheapest I could find.
So
that's what's wrong with this?
Yeah, you brought up the thing about Jameson, and this reminded me of something. Like, okay, so I like good bourbon, and I like good scotch, and I appreciate quality liquor. But something that fucking pisses me off is like people who are like fucking pretentious about their liquor. It's fucking booze. Like, get off your fucking high horse. Because I went on like a date with somebody, and they mentioned, like, we were talking about bourbon, we were talking about whiskey, and they're like, what do you like? And I told them, I was like, well, I don't know what my favorite is, but here are my kind of like go-tos, you know. And I mentioned Jameson was one of my 3 go-tos. Okay. And they're like, it's kind of trash. And I'm like, it's not trash. I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like fucking high shelf. I was like, but it's reliable. Like, it gets the job. Like, it's decent. It's not bad. I was just like, and they were going on about how it's like, well, this is better, this is better. I'm like, I don't want to fucking break the bank.
We're going to get so many reaction gifts for our fantasy football league of you and me, like, reacting to his stories right now.
We live on different spectrums where Jameson is considered trash because Jameson's like one of my top shelves. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to splurge for the Jameson tonight. There's a fine bottle of Old Crow in there just waiting to be drank.
But no, and that's kind of like, I consider Jameson to be like, I don't consider it high price, but I consider it like kind of like the price before you get to high price. Okay. Like it's like that. It's like
mid-tier.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, if you don't, like if you're not somebody who wants to spend decent dollar on vodka, that's like your high tier. Like that's as high as I'll go. But there's a lot of people who consider it like average, cheap. Like there's a lot of fucking bourbon like that I love and I think is really fucking good. But a lot of people are like, it's all right. If like a lot of people's like fucking view is, oh, if there's a commercial for it, it's trash. Like, and I can't stand that. It blows my goddamn mind.
You know what beer doesn't have a commercial?
What's that?
Natural Light.
Because
they can't afford them. I don't know.
Because they don't need one.
No.
So
you're not buying
it's like
natural.
Oreos. They have commercials, but they don't need them. Like Oreos could not.
I love
have
how
a
this
commercial
segued from
for
Shakespeare to drinking
for like
That's
60
the most
years.
appropriate.
Variety Hour.
and they would still know the cream's in the middle. Like they'd be all right.
I don't buy Oreos. I buy the chocolate discs. Great value chocolate disc cookie.
Oh,
It's not bad.
dude.
It's not bad. So this was Variety Hour.
Oh, are we wrapping? Is this
We're
the wrap up?
going to wrap this at this point because we are going downhill from here. So, if you would like, these two gentlemen will be debuting a short film series every 2 weeks beginning April 26th.
April 26th.
Shakeshafte Cinema. We'll leave a link down to their YouTube channel below. Please go ahead, subscribe.
I've only done YouTube for all of like 30 minutes, and I already know it's subscribe.
You get used to it. Subscribe to them. They will be having content generating on April 26th and then moving henceforth. And if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the like button down below. Give this video a comment as well because I'm just horrified at what it's going to be at
And
this
if you
point.
don't like it, I don't care.
Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Shakeshaft, which ends with an E. Make sure you look that up. Look us up on Instagram. We're uploading often.
Yeah, we're also on Facebook at Shakeshafte Cinema. We're also on Twitter, though we don't really regularly use it.
Yeah, don't look at the Twitter. It doesn't exist.
It's
It's not
at
real. It's not
Shakeshafte
real.
Cine, C-I-N-E.
Yeah.
It is real. It's out there.
Thanks for joining us on Variety Hour.